What would the 10 Commandments during COVID-19 be? Here's a possibility of how we might begin. Remember God's presence. You are not alone. God is with you always. Breathe intentionally each day, remembering that this connects you with the Spirit, the breath of God. Celebrate God's presence. During these COVID times, caring for our spirits matters. Finding ways to worship online or by phone and taking part in spiritual practices fosters connection and resilience. Care for creation. Remember, the earth is sacred. Care for the earth, allowing the pandemic to refocus you on its importance, reducing our carbon footprints, caring for local plant and animal species and watersheds. Take time to be outside, to go for a walk or even just open a window, and find your connection to the earth in simplicity and needing less. Create a Sabbath time. Plan times to put away devices and stop looking at screens. And don't allow yourself to cheat on these commitments. Take planned news breaks, particularly in the evenings, as you prepare to rest for the night. Find spiritual practices that renew you without feeling like another task to do. Take time doing nothing and looking out the window. Remember that God calls us to rest as well as to work, that we need to spend time being, not just doing. Wash hands to honor life. Following public health guidelines of washing hands, restricting travel, and focusing on what is essential can be a way to honor life. In keeping yourself safe, you honor all who are most vulnerable. Remember that each time you wash your hands, you are connecting with water, the source of life. Wear masks as a form of love. Wear a mask and keep at least 2 meters apart from those who are not in your household or your bubble. Remember that when you take risks, they are not only risks for you, but for those who are close to you and for all healthcare workers and others whom increased infection rates impact directly. A mask that you wear, what you do not do, who you do not visit, and where you do not go can all be deep expressions of love. Your choices matter not just for you, but for many others. Nurture connections. Simple connections matter, and COVID reminds us to focus on our connections with those who are close. If you are living with others, don't take time together for granted just because there's more of it. Be intentional about creating specific quality time, and find ways to respect the space and alone time as well. If you live alone, find ways to nurture connections to family, good friends, neighbors, and others while being safe, such as phone calls, emails, cards in the mail, friendly waves, and other creative possibilities. Recognize inequality. The good old days didn't exist, and we are not all in this together, but COVID has helped to reveal many of the forms of inequality that exist. Allow these times to reveal privilege to you as a matter of our faith. Find ways to learn about anti-Black, anti-Indigenous, and other forms of racism. Listen to people speak about the intersections of housing, employment, gender, orientation, race, and differing abilities. Take the time to listen, learn, and change, so that together we can move closer to God's vision for the world. Be creative. Find the new possibilities and opportunities to nurture relationships, care for others, learn and grow, and have some fun, so that together we can be co-creators of a world that works for all. Practice kindness and compassion. COVID is hard. Be gentle with yourself and with others. Set aside self-blame and recognize that you are doing enough. Remember that everyone is experiencing different worries and challenges, and someone's emotions are likely not about you. Kindness and forgiveness are gifts that you can extend to yourself and to others, and our compassion grows from the promise that in all things we are not alone. God is with us, always. I've invited us to imagine the 10 commandments during COVID-19. Did you expect any of the commandments on my list? What would be different on your list? What would our church, our community, our city, our world be like if we all lived and loved with the COVID commandments?